Hello, and welcome to another episode of Disrupt Your Now, the show for entrepreneurs who are sick and tired of checking off the boxes and want to create their own boxes. Tonight, I'm doing something a bit different. I'm all by myself, partly because I've got allergies and I've been coughing a lot, and I don't want to cut a guest short, but also partly because of my topic, having a higher purpose in your business. And I just love this topic so much, I wanted to be able to blab the whole time. So I hope y'all don't mind that. Um, Last week, my guest, Jennifer Banton, recommended that I watch a show on Netflix called Live to 100. It's like a 5 episode show, documentary type. It was so interesting. First of all, Jennifer, thank you for recommending it. Um, it's about a guy who is traveling all over the world to find out these pockets throughout the world, of people who live to be 100, way higher ratio of other places in the world. And he's trying to figure out what they have in common. And one of the things that they had in common, which led me to talk about this topic this week, which it's near and dear to my heart, but it, so what they talked about is in Okinawa, ikigai is a life purpose. And very commonly, that when he would ask people, what gets you up in the morning? What keeps you excited? What makes you want to keep living? And I mean, these are people who are 102, 103, and they would say, my ikigai, their life purpose. And same thing in Costa Rica, except for in Costa Rica, they call it plan de vida. That just means life plan, but very, very similar. And hey, Jennifer, Jennifer's own, I'm so glad you shared that with me. Um, so anyway, I've always known this for myself, that I have to have a bigger reason for doing things. Money is not a motivator for me. Yes, I like money. Who doesn't, and you have to have money to do things. And obviously, if we're in business, we have to make money, but that isn't what motivates me. And even years ago, back in the 80s, when I first got out of college, I worked for a multinational, multi-billion dollar conglomerate, and I was miserable because all I could see was my tiny little piece of the pie, and I couldn't see a bigger reason for what we were doing. It just didn't mean anything to me. But I'll have to say that I got one of the biggest compliments that I've ever gotten when I was told by someone that the CEO said, "That Lisa really has a mind of her own." And I was like, "Yes, I do." And so the thing is, when you have a mind of your own, it's very hard to get put in that corporate box. So I was really, really unhappy. But I'm going to fast forward to that was when I first realized or started realizing that I really had to have an ikigai or plan de vida for me to, for in my business, for me to get excited. And the thing is, this is one thing that I love so much about being an entrepreneur. When you own your own business, you get to pick what that is. You get to pick what the higher purpose is. And in a few minutes, I'm going to give y'all some examples. And oh, by the way, Jennifer, you're one of them. I know you don't know that. But so I forgot what I was saying. Well, you get to pick what means the most to you and what you are going to focus on. But I want to say this: I'm not talking about giving money. I'm not talking about sacrificing profitability in your business or any of that. As a matter of fact, giving money is the easy way to do it. It's really easy to hand people money and then traipse away and be like, yeah, I'm great. I'm good because I gave them some money. It's harder to put your heart and soul into something. But the benefits that you reap from it are so just exponential because you reap them personally. You're so much more fulfilled and motivated, but you also reap them in your business in different ways. And so these 5 people that I'm going to tell you about, you'll get an idea of they're doing totally different things for totally different types of causes, but and so they're all kind of getting the same thing back as far as fulfillment and giving you a higher purpose, a bigger reason to get up and keep going. And when things are really hard, when things get tough, that's the thing that sometimes is the only thing that can keep you going. And if you do have employees and you integrate something that means a lot to your employees, and you don't just do it, but you make them a part of it, it is amazing how much difference it can make to your business. It literally can add to the bottom line. Excuse me. It creates more fulfillment in employees. It makes them happier at work. It makes them want to help people more. They're more empathetic. Anyway, we're going to talk about that later, but I want you to understand that yes, there's this personal reason that that you will get more out of it than you ever give, but selfishly, your business will benefit as well. So the first person that I want to tell you about, several of these people are in my book, Disrupt Your Now. So if this interests you, you might want to read it. The last section of that book is about having a higher purpose. So the first person that I want to tell you about is my friend Daryl Hatton. Daryl is the founder and CEO of Connection Point, which is a company that powers social impact, animal care, creative, and healthcare projects. They have 4 different brands, and they're all it's basically a crowdfunding platform, but tweaked for 4 different types of giving. And I'm going to tell you about them in a minute. But the funny thing is, Daryl said, I didn't set out to change the world. He was just a tech guy, an IT guy that was trying to figure out something that he wanted to create. But he stumbled into this. He is an OG in the world of crowdfunding. He is a legend. And as a matter of fact, if you have ever used PayPal on Facebook to donate or to buy anything, like doing it right there from within Facebook and not leaving, Daryl's company is the one that created that years ago when that first came out. I don't remember how many years ago, 10, whatever. You can thank Daryl Hatton and Connection Point for that. So he said, I didn't set out to change the world, but just that empowered so many nonprofits to be able to take donations right there by reaching out to people. But Connection Point, the company, as of now, they have helped organizations raise over $275 million across 200,000 campaigns. That is amazing. And I'm going to bet you that you have not even heard of their 4 brands, because everybody is familiar with Crowdfunder, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, all these. No, this company is the one that is breaking all the molds, but flying beneath the radar. And, I want to tell you something funny about, how everybody's like, oh, you can't compete on price because it's a race to the bottom. That's exactly right. And Daryl knew that from the get-go. So years ago, he said, you know what? I'm not going to race to the bottom. We are going to give away our service. So they literally were the first crowdfunding platform to give away their service. There's no fee to anybody who's raising funds other than the credit card transaction fee that they would have anyway. But Connection Point takes nothing. The way they make their revenue is they give the people who donate the opportunity to tip them if they want to. If they tip them, then Connection Point has revenue. If they don't tip them, then they still don't charge the fundraisers, which to me is amazing, but they're a very profitable company. So that shows you right there that doing something to help other people for the right reason can be very profitable. But I want to tell you about their 4 brands that run on the platform. Each one is tweaked a bit. The first one is Fundraiser, but it's spelled different. It's Fundrazr, and it is for nonprofits, social causes, and professional fundraisers. I've used it several times for projects that we were doing with 1111 Veteran Project. It's a great, great platform. It has all this social sharing, combined. You can have a team, you can have sub campaigns within it. So if you're a nonprofit and you're partnering with companies that want to help support your crowdfunder, they can actually have their own sub campaigns so that they are running, like, maybe let's say they tell people, if you give X amount, we'll give you such and such. So anyway, it's a really cool way that that companies can help support nonprofits by promoting their crowdfunders. The next one is their newest one. It's called Crowdfunder, and it's spelled without an E. It's CROWDFUNDR. And it is for creators to sustainably fund projects and ideas. I am so excited about this because, of course, I'm a creator and I work with tons of creators. And I've not worked with Crowdfunder yet, but I'm working with a client and a creator on the most amazing project. Y'all are going to love it. You are going to love it when it comes out, but I can't even give you a hint on what it is other than it's a creator, but I can't tell you anything more than that. Um, but it's basically got the same features as fundraiser, but it's presented and tweaked in a way so that it's geared towards creators. And it can be an individual creator, but if you sign up as an organization or a business as a creator, then you can brand your whole page so that it looks totally like your own. People don't even know their own crowdfunder unless they pay attention to the URL in the address bar, because it's totally branded like your company. But anyway, so I'm so excited about it, and can't wait to tell y'all how it goes. The next one that I think is really cool, especially with all the worry in the world about health and affordability of healthcare, is called COCO Pay, COCO Pay, and it's community powered medical payment solution to increase affordability and access to quality healthcare. That's a whole mouthful of stuff that basically just means it is a really easy way for you to help the people that you love afford the things that they need for medical treatments or equipment or so forth. Like, one that I've seen is someone who needed one of those hover rounds, whatever you call them. Now, probably not hover round, but something similar to that. And so they had their own page. But the thing is, the money doesn't go to them. So if it's a product or whatever that they need, it's set up and the money goes to the company that is that they would be buying the product or service from. So you don't have to worry that you're going to give the money to somebody and they're not going to really use it, for what you think you're giving it for. So I think that's really cool. But in these days of everybody being worried about healthcare and our aging population and more people being solo workers, so a lot less people have corporate insurance. So sorry, Coco Pay, go check it out. And then Pet Funder. So Jennifer, I thought of y'all with Crowdfunder and Pet Funder. So Pet Funder, again, leaves out the E. It's PETFUNDR. And this is specifically crowdfunding for animal and pet care for rescues, veterinarians, and pet parents. So a pet parent could go raise money if their loving pet needed some kind of major thing that they can't afford. But if you're a business, you could help a pet rescue raise money. Or veterinarians could raise money to be able to afford to give free services to the community, things like that. So I'm going to go into the next thing, but I want to very much encourage you to please go check out Connection Point, which is the name of the parent company. And you can go directly to the brands. It's fundraiser.com, ZR, crowdfunder.com, DR, CocoPay, or petfunder.com, DR, no E. Or you can just go to Connection Point and find out all of them. So, and give Daryl a shout out on LinkedIn if you think about it. He is a great, great guy and just I would have to say, from me starting this show 3 years ago. He's one of my favorite people that I've ever met. And I love all of y'all, but Daryl holds a special place in my heart. So I have a special guest that's popped up that I wasn't even didn't know that he was going to be able to make it. Hey there, Sean.
Hey, how you doing?
So, and you know what's so funny? You were the next person on the list that I was going to talk about. So you
I had a
you
couple
just
minutes.
hit it right at the right time.
Hey, listen, I had a couple of minutes. You see, I'm in the vehicle. I definitely wanted to pop in real quick, though.
Well, and you know what's so funny, y'all? Sean's the only person that I told that I was going to be talking about them, and I was like, "But if you're not busy, pop in." So I'm really glad to see you. How long do you have, Sean? Like 10 minutes
I give you
or
10
2
minutes.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, it might not take that long, but I want to tell them some about you. Then I want you to talk, and then when you have to leave, I can talk some more. Okay? Because you
Okay.
know me, I can always talk.
Right.
So this is my great friend Sean. Sean is also in the book. But what I want to tell you about Sean, and I hope I don't cry, and I hope it'll make you cry, Sean.
We
I'm
always
so,
fine.
I know we always are. I'm so proud of Sean and so proud to call him my friend because he has overcome so many things that y'all cannot even imagine. He was incarcerated for 15 years for armed robbery, and he found out that he was going to be a father a few days before he was sentenced. So if you can imagine that, and Sean on his first day sat on the floor of his cell and said, I do not want my life to be like this. I'm going to change my life. So he spent that time in prison bettering himself, getting an education, getting every certificate he could possibly get. And now he's an entrepreneur. But the great thing about Sean is that he's giving back to the community. I want to read you this quote that Sean said. He says, I was one of the people who helped destroy the community. So it's only right that I and others like me help mend it. That touches my heart so much. And I'll tell you part of the reason, Sean, and I don't mean this to diss people, but so many people who get in trouble, even if it isn't major trouble, they want to blame other people. And that doesn't mean that there aren't other people who could be at fault. But instead of taking responsibility and being part of the change they want to see, they spend their time blaming and whining. And so the fact that you don't do that and that you are out changing the community, I think is amazing. Really quickly, and then I'm going to let him tell you more about it. He mentors youth to help provide an outlet for anger, like sports or computer programming, so they will turn to those things instead of to guns. He is really connects with kids great, and I'm gonna tell you about this later, about this one story that really touched me. But he also mentors incarcerated adults. He helps them learn entrepreneurial skills, and he gives them hope for coming out of prison and feeling like they can really have a future. And he also helps them learn to be a good father or mother, I guess, if you work. I don't know if you work with any women, but help them be better parents. And he has started a new nonprofit called Boots on the Ground. So, Sean, I want you to tell them whatever you want them to know. And then when you have to leave, I'll just blab some more. Oh, man. Can you hear? Are you there? Oh, I think you're losing your signal.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Thank goodness.
I'm out here. Hey, listen. Hey, what I need people to know is the name. Our name is Boots on the Ground. Okay, boots on the ground. We really keep our boots on the ground. We're always on the
Yeah.
move.
So you're out in the country somewhere to meet up with some kids or something, right?
You know I am.
Yeah. So tell them, I can tell them more about the other stuff, but tell them what you want them to know about Boots on the Ground and the Pens Not Pencils poetry contest, okay? I mean, pens not pistols, not pens not pencils. I'm sorry. Are you there, Sean? Can you hear? Can you hear me?
I'm trying to move to a better spot.
All right, well, we can hear you now, so that's okay. Stay right there. As long as we can hear
Oh,
you,
oh,
as long as we can hear you, it's okay.
okay.
All right. So tell them what you want them to know about boots on the ground and pins, not pistols.
Um, well, just give me 1 second here, and because
Okay.
I definitely was trying to move where you could hear me at.
Okay. Yeah, and you don't want to wreck while you're doing it. So I'm sorry I was encouraging you to do that.
No, that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So boots on the ground, which Lisa was telling you guys a little bit about me and my particular situation. Um, we wanted to bridge the gap in the community. So bridging the gap in the community, we saw that there was a gap between the youth, the community, and law enforcement. So we formulated Boots on the Ground to help with that. We're doing a lot of great things. One of the things before we get into pins, not pistols, and this is an exclusive here. You're the first one to get this, Lisa. Um,
Okay.
we of course, we've spoke to the law schools of UVA, Richmond School of Law. We were on a Zoom call today. We're on our way to Howard University to speak to. Yes. So you guys are the first ones to get that.
I
We're
can't wait to tell my friend Monifa. She's an alumnus from there. And she's in
Oh
the
wow,
book too.
wow. Hopefully she can come out because as we were talking about that gap and that divide, we understand how the judicial system is, right? And it's like every other thing. Sometimes you get stagnant because of time, right? And
Mhm.
so we understand that speaking to our future judges, lawmakers, Supreme Court justice, um, we understand that they will be able to understand what the law looked like that somebody had wrote before us and what it did with us, right? So
Yes.
that can
Making
so,
humanizing it,
yeah,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. So it gives an individual the opportunity to actually move judiciously and empathetically, right?
Yeah.
Versus just write a law against somebody or for someone, and you never see what they look like. So that is
Yeah.
one of the that Boots on the Ground does.
Oh, I
As
love it.
wonderful. I'm stoked right now. Over that conversation that we had and what
Mhm.
it could lead to. Stay tuned. I'll give you an exclusive after it's over. You know,
Okay. Yeah, I'll have you
so
back on and you can tell everybody about it.
absolutely. So pins, not pistols, and this is something that we're taking there as well. We, our high school here in Halifax, Canada, me and Lisa stay in. We connected about a year ago to the new superintendent. We had a new high school principal, and we connected with them. And in turn, through those communications, they gave us the liaison, which was the peer mediation specialist, right? And
Mhm.
we went in and we um, gave out a poetry contest, right? Called Pens Not Pistols. We did a 4 presentations in one day. We did 4 presentations in one day. Me and my brothers and comrades that had been incarcerated with us, and we connected with the youth right where they were at because we understand the language of the people, and you have to know the language of a people
Yeah.
before you can teach them, right? And that's something
Right.
that we speak about adamantly. And so a lot of the kids they connected to it. It resonated with them, and they actually wrote because we teach emotional intelligence, right?
Mhm.
And we teach what to do with those feelings that you may have if a kid bumps up into you, or if you may be having problems or trouble at home, and this is to deter school shootings, right? And the
Yeah.
violence we have in schools, right? Um, so it helps you catalog those feelings by getting them out on paper or your laptop or whatever that may be.
And it
And
gives them a coping mechanism.
absolutely, absolutely. So as I said before, what happened was the beauty of it was that we changed the communication in the school system. For one, we changed peer to peer, meaning student to student, and then educator to student, and educator to educator, because we ran it through the English departments, so they had to form a rubric on how to grade it, right? So the educators had to come together and figure out, how do we grade these poetry. We gave them the rules. You couldn't curse. You had to use pens, not pistols. Use your words, not weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of the participants, all of the participants that participated, they gave us the top three, and then we chose, me and my team, we chose who those top three were at the end of the school year. During awards day, we gave out memorabilia, we gave out swag bags, we gave out plaques, and we gave out cash prizes to the winners, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then we went on from there to do something phenomenal. We turned all of the pieces of poetry into a book called Pens Not Pistols. I actually don't have one where I can hold it up right now, but
Uh-huh.
you but it is available on Amazon. Sean Barksdale presents Pens Not Pistols. Great piece
Okay.
of poetry from our youth. Some of them had written poetry before, some had not, and it was just a
Mm-hmm.
great feeling that we were able to help in that space and carry that along. So now we're able to actually take this to other schools. We vetted, and we're waiting on a couple of other schools that would like to have this program in their schools, as well as take this to the universities. So that's a
Well,
little bit of the things that we're doing.
I love it. And Sean, not only are you teaching them that coping mechanism, you also are, by example, showing them that they can be anything that they want, because now they are in a book that's on Amazon,
Yes,
that they
yes,
probably never would have dreamed of. And so
yes.
now maybe at least some of them have had their eyes open to realize that the world is their oyster and it's up to them to figure out what they're going to do with it. I just love that. And y'all came out to Virginia International Raceway, right? For the race?
Oh, there, that right there was phenomenal, because I'm a peer recovery specialist as well. I have been 21 years drug and alcohol free, and another thing that I give back was understanding, once again, our youth, as well as you guys dealing with veterans. My father's a veteran
Mhm.
as well, and substance use user as well. And I wanted to be able to combat mental health and substance use disorders, right? So
Yeah.
with Ryan, talking with Ryan one day, I also own Press for Time Tees, which we do a lot of Colin Garrett's printing for his shirts and hats and things of that,
Mhm.
right? So I'm in the office with Ryan, and how me and Ryan going back and forth, just
Yeah.
talking and whatnot. And we started talking about, suicide and mental health disorders, right? And so I told him I had a couple of my guys from one of my group homes that were having some challenges. And of course, Ryan being who he was, he said, "Listen, man, we're doing this kind of contest, right?" He said, and where the winner is gonna get, a decal from their design placed on Colin's car, right? He said, "Why
Mhm.
don't you have the guys put something together?" I said, "Man, that'd be great." Went to the group home. Had They didn't know what was going on. We didn't tell them any of this. He said, "Don't tell them
Uh-huh.
what's going on," right? We, so and ironically, they came up with a design not knowing that looked like a racetrack. It was an infinity
Yeah,
sign,
it did.
right? It looked like two racetracks that were,
Mhm. 2
intertwined,
ovals overlapping,
right?
yeah.
That was intertwined, and it said mental health awareness. We took the
Mhm.
mental health awareness colors, what were green and blue. We put the blue on the top for the sky, green for the bottom, and then we left one black for one of the
Uh-huh.
tracks. And you know, Colin Garrett's team is just phenomenal. You guys are phenomenal. They invited us out on their dime, of course, and we were able to take these young men around. And of course, you know me in the educational space that I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm telling them, we're walking around. I say, look, let's talk to this guy. I say, hey, look, you put tires on for a living. How much do you make? And they're telling them, and they're like, hey, you make that much? I'm like,
Oh,
listen,
that's funny.
all you have to do is just be able to think sometime and think outside of the box. After
Uh-huh.
after we had a great day of racing, Colin called them over there and unveiled that he was putting the stickers, the decals on the car. And it just, I mean, the morale that happened in those children, it was phenomenal. It was
That's
unbelievable.
awesome. I
Yeah.
wish I could have been there that day. I did digitize the logo for it to be
Yes.
turned into the decal for the car, but I wasn't able to make it that weekend. But Sean, I'm just so proud of you for
Thank
everything that you're doing. And I know that you are just at the very beginning. I can't even imagine in even 5 years what you're going to have accomplished. So I just want to tell you how
you.
proud I am of you and how much I love you.
Thank you. I love you too, Lisa. Listen, I'm a cut out of here. I definitely had to jump on any opportunity that I can be on, your show, Disrupt Your Now. And you were the first one. And that's why I did that book with the youth, because that changed my life when I was able to see myself, someone who had came from those conditions, to being in someone's book.
Yeah.
That was phenomenal to me. So I was hoping that would change their lives as well, being able to see themselves in a book. So I look for many great things from you and from us, and some collaborations and partnerships.
Awesome. And always remember that night, Sean and I had just met and I had him on the show. This was 3 years ago. And the more I learned his story on the show, I just fell in love. So on the show live, I asked him if he would like to be in my book, and we both ended up crying. So you can tell we're both two crybabies.
Put me in a book. So it was phenomenal. But I'll say this and I'll leave, and this is for our listeners. Always understand that true wealth is in the relationships that you form and that you cultivate. That's where the wealth is at, in the relationships. If we have healthy relationships, we can make a better world. So thank you guys, man. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Amen. See you, Sean.
Bye.
Be safe. Bye. Okay, y'all. Isn't he amazing? I'm sorry. I always cry when I talk to Sean. He's awesome, though. I love him so much. Um, so the next excuse me. The next person that I want to introduce is Stacy Houston. She is the executive director of the actor. God, I can't even talk anymore. She is executive director of the actor Kevin Bacon's 6 Degrees organization. So she's in the book. She's been on my show. She's an amazing person, not an entrepreneur, but she didn't even realize until she talked to me that she had basically worked her entire life to position herself, just coincidentally, to when Kevin approached her and wanted to hire her to run it, that she realized she had worked her whole life to prepare her for this. All different, doing all different types of things, sales, all kinds of things. But anyway, Stacy's an amazing person. But if you're not familiar with 6 Degrees, it the organization provides opportunities for celebrities to help amplify nonprofits and local causes. Because you think about it, the big nonprofits have all these huge companies behind them. They're out, boots on the ground, boots on the ground, fundraising and stuff. And the small organizations and local causes don't have a way to do that. They don't have a way to reach people outside of their community, or it's hard to. I mean, you can on social, but it's hard to. So what Kevin started when he started 6 Degrees, what he did is he gave an opportunity for a celebrity. So if you're in whatever town and you're going to be there working, well, you're going to have some time down, and usually they're just bored. They're sitting in the hotel or something. So he lets celebrities let them know when they're going to be in specific areas, and then they match those celebrities up with specific nonprofits or causes for them to go and do something with. So, for example, one of the things that she told me about Kevin and his brother doing, because they have a band together, is this restaurant that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. A restaurant that they were in town to do a concert. And so they actually came to the restaurant during the day, met all the employees, I think met some customers and so forth, ate there. I think they played some music for him or something. And that was Kevin and his brother doing it. But so that's the kind of thing, though, that other celebrities would do. They may just show up, for autographs or pictures. But the really cool thing is the organizations don't know they're coming. So this is a surprise. So can you imagine whether it's Kevin Bacon or another celebrity showing up and you don't even know they're going to be there? So what happens is everybody gets excited, but it also creates a media opportunity for those small organizations, because the local media picks it up, and then it usually gets picked up regionally, state, and sometimes nationally. Excuse me. But I want to read you a quote from Stacy about, we were talking about how having a higher purpose can actually help the bottom line for a company. And I'm going to read this from the book because I won't remember how to say it. Stacy says employees are actually more actively engaged in their day-to-day job because they have higher job satisfaction, and that's just factual, data-driven stats. When you give your employees 8 hours a month or a quarter to donate their time, or you have organized activities where they're giving back, there's a direct correlation to increasing your bottom line at a company. Now, I guarantee you, if you don't believe it, you can contact Stacy on LinkedIn and she can give you the data. She's a smart girl. But what I wanted to tell you about, though, so that lays the groundwork for, this is the nonprofit, and Stacy is how I learned more about it. But I want to give you an example of how a company that they worked with is using a higher purpose within their company. So there's a staffing agency in Colorado called Samples, and they specialize in placing differently abled employees in jobs. So whether they have a handicap or, autistic or blind or deaf, or they've been in an accident, maybe they have a traumatic brain injury, they specialize in helping those people get jobs, a regular job in a regular company, so that they can be more integrated in the community. And the owners, the people who started that, also own the restaurant that I mentioned a few minutes ago that Kevin and his brother showed up for. So those owners lead by example. So they have this staffing agency. They actually employ differently abled people in their restaurant. And they said that it creates an environment that has much more empathy and enjoyment for just the regular employees. And it gives those employees an opportunity to do things that they would not normally be able to do. And they're able to work with the differently able people, help train them, help teach them how to do things. And they said that their employees, their staff, who were able to work with those differently abled employees, were so much more fulfilled on the job. And so that led directly to, y'all know restaurants are notorious for being hard to keep employees, especially good employees. But so that led directly to them having employees who were more fulfilled, happier, more empathetic, and more motivated to come to work and actually do a great job because they saw this higher purpose in it. So I just thought that was really cool. Y'all go, though, check out Kevin's 6 Degrees organization, because there may be a way that your business could support that. So I highly encourage you to do it. And I'm sure that they have some articles on there about other organizations that they've promoted. But so that's the restaurant, though, that Kevin and his brother showed up at unannounced, and there are all these employees there, and here comes Kevin Bacon and his brother in. And so I just would love to have been a fly on the wall for that. So the next person I'm going to tell you about, I already teased it, Jennifer Banton, who's in the audience. She is the co-founder of Lucid Studio, which is branding and packaging design company, a new company. And I love how they have their higher purpose baked into their business. They say they work with beneficial brands and mission-based companies who want to make a positive impact on the lives of people, pets, and the planet. And I love that, the 3 Ps. But, you know, when you have to create a target market in your business. And most people are, they're trying to throw everybody in there because they're afraid they're going to miss somebody. But also what they don't think about though is you want to work with people you like, and you want to work with people whose values you share. And the fact that Jennifer and her partners have that in their business mission or vision or statement or wherever they have it, that they work with beneficial brands and mission-based companies who want to make a positive impact on the lives of people, pets, and the planet. So by them consciously targeting those types of clients, it makes their marketing easier. So hello, obviously that's going to help your business, but they're not doing it for social, sorry, my brain just went blank. They're not doing it selfishly. That's just a side effect of it, because they have this higher purpose and they want to make a positive impact in these 3 areas that mean a lot to them: people, pets, and the planet. It just naturally makes their marketing easier, because what happens is prospective clients recognize them as being a soulmate. Basically, they recognize them as being somebody that they would be a great match to work with. So it lets them work with people who have the same values, and I'm sure that it will also lead to opportunities for them to end up working with nonprofits and other organizations that are in the space that they value. But y'all remember that the 3 Ps: people, pets, and the planet. And if your company is a company that values that, or that wants to make a positive impact on one of those 3 areas, reach out to Jennifer Banton, Banton, and her company is Lucid Studio. I will put the links to all these things in the comments later. So the last one that I want to tell y'all about is, people who know me are probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about this. This is in the book as well, but Sean referred to it earlier. So I'm going to tell you about this. 1111 Veteran Project is something that I am deeply, deeply immersed in. It was founded by pro race car driver Colin Garrett and his dad Ryan. They're a double Blue Star family. If you're not in the military world, what double Blue Star means is that you have 2 family members who are serving in the military. Like Gold Star is a family who has sadly lost a family member serving. A Blue Star family has 1 family member serving. A double Blue Star family has 2 family members serving. So both of Colin's older brothers are in the military, and he wanted to do something to help veterans and military families, and he wasn't sure how he wanted to go about it. So what happened is, he and his dad started this for-profit company called 1111 Veteran Project. And the goal is to increase access to existing resources that help veterans, military families, and the disabled live happy, healthy lives. So what happened is, they did this because rather than going after traditional sponsorships, we're disrupting the sponsorship model, because by this being a for-purpose, for-profit, what we do is we work with companies who need our expertise in some way, solving some type of problem, rather than them just doing a sponsorship where they have a rolling billboard. We're like, hey, let us help you solve a problem. It might be marketing franchises, because veterans are the number 1 in success rate for being franchisees. Or it might be recruiting veterans if you need security cleared employees, but it doesn't even have to have anything to do with the military or veterans. We have the people in our group have such a wide variety of expertise that pretty much any problem you have, if our team doesn't have the expertise, we know the people globally. We have a huge network of amazing experts that we can hook you up with. And what we do is we solve your problem, but then we take the profits from that B2B consulting and use it to pay for the race. And during the race, we promote military nonprofits and veteran and military spouse owned companies. So it's so cool because we're getting to do what we love. We're getting to support these people that we know have given so much to our country. We're able to solve problems for companies, but these companies can also be part of that. We are giving those companies an opportunity to be involved in something with a higher purpose. So it's so fulfilling. I love it. We've been promoting the nonprofits and the companies since 2019, the beginning of 2019, actually January, and still doing it. So the company itself, and initially it was just an initiative, and it's gradually turned into this for purpose, for profit. I think it was last year that we actually formed it as an LLC. But I want to give you some examples of some of the things that we've been able to achieve for people in the military as a benefit of doing this B2B consulting. We have paid for stem cell treatments for a veteran who has multiple sclerosis from exposure to chemicals while on active duty. We crowdfunded for Colin's NASCAR Xfinity Series car in 2020. We crowdfunded to race there, and we beat our goal really quickly. And we used all the extra money that we did not need to raise to pay for stem cell treatments for this veteran. And that's one thing. We spend our profits. We don't keep them in the company. We're not using, the only reason that we want those profits is so that we can turn around and race and use Colin's national platform to promote these organizations. Another thing that we did last year, we did a crowdfunder for a family, 4 kids and their dad, who lost their veteran mom to a misdiagnosed treatable illness. She had been sick for weeks and had gone to doctor after doctor. It actually may have been months. And it wasn't until basically her deathbed that they realized what was wrong with her. And so these 4 children and her husband lost their mother for something that was misdiagnosed and treatable. Of course, there was nothing that we could do about that, but we did a crowdfunder for that family and helped raise money so that the dad could help support, to help him pay bills. Because you think about it, you're all of a sudden a single parent. You've still got to work and everything else, but you've got all these bills. School was coming up, so we raised money to help pay for their school supplies and a bunch of other stuff. We also ran the first Braille paint scheme with a blind sponsor in NASCAR. My friend, Dr. Hobie Webler, who was born blind, he's a PhD chemist, and this was extra special to my heart because my father was blind. So for me to be able to see a Braille paint scheme and to get Hobie down at Daytona International Speedway and have him reading the Braille, reading Colin's name over the car was so inspiring. And I told Hobie, oh my God, I wish my father could have been there. The only bad thing is if he'd been there, he and Hobie would have been fighting over who got to drive the race car. So the last thing that I want to tell you about is that Colin is the first national race car driver to promote micro businesses through his national motorsports platform. We have promoted many veteran-owned and military spouse-owned small businesses. And we have done things like one of them, Veterans Growing America. We had them on the car at Martinsville Speedway. I think it was last year. And they were able to go from doing one-day pop-up shops on the weekends to getting a space between Apple and I think it was Verizon in a premier shopping center in Northern Virginia. Any of y'all who are familiar with Northern Virginia know how much it costs to do business there. And Donnell, the founder of that, he's retired command sergeant major in the Army. He was able to leverage the exposure that he got from being on the car. He was able to leverage that to basically build his credibility, build his brand awareness, so that people really believed in his mission. We're really proud of that. Another example is Sherman Williams, our friend who started Body Aqua, which is a functional beverage company. It is all natural, no artificial sweeteners, no artificial colors. It's vegan, it's safe for diabetics, and so forth. He was able to leverage the exposure that we gave him and got in Costco, Winn-Dixie, Whole Foods. I don't even remember where else. He was able to use that to show, to demonstrate that those companies, to those companies, basically the brand value of his company. So anyway, those are just a few examples of the types of people that I know and the types of causes that I'm involved in. And I hope that they have inspired you to figure out something that you can do in your company. But I want to tell you this, it has got to be sincere. If you go into it and think, okay, what's something that I could do, because if I go do this thing, I'm going to make a lot of money as a side effect, or I'm going to be able to use it to get in good with somebody. Don't do that, because people see right through it. It's true. People see right through it, and it will come back to bite you. What you need to do is dig in your heart. And if you have staff, dig in everybody's heart and see what is something that is so close to y'all that you would really love to be involved in some way. It does not have to be volunteering. It does not have to be giving money. It could be, you could figure out anything. I mean, it could even just be featuring their social media, getting started in a small way. It could be promoting their social media accounts or something. But I highly, highly encourage you to do that, because if you do, I guarantee you that you are going to be happier. You're going to be more motivated when work gets hard, because you're going to know that you're doing it for somebody other than yourself and your company. And who knows, you may be healthier and live longer. I also want to highly encourage you to go watch the show that Jennifer had, excuse me, that Jennifer had recommended to me, Live to 100. I think it will inspire you to live a healthier life, but I think it will just inspire you all the way around. Thanks a lot for joining me. Next week, I go back to having a guest along with me, but I appreciate y'all giving me the time to blab the whole time all by myself, except for when Sean was here. Thanks, everybody. And now go disrupt.